Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I just want to do a quick update on Maranix. So Maranix is now actually in the game. She's in the live game code. And we're able to see a bit more information that I've not been able to see so far when I've done my videos. And I've kind of said, you know, on my main, this was like a must-do fusion because, you know, the skills look like they would be absolute nukes. My free-to-play, less so. Because actually on the free-to-play, I'm more about finding gaps for my team. Obviously, if you can do a fusion, you probably should do a fusion because you never know if a champion will be buffed or, you know, if new content drops that allows you to use that champion more effectively. But from what we've seen so far, it actually feels like a pretty comfortable skip for me on both my accounts. So we've got an A1, which can get extra hits. And if you get those extra hits, it's actually a godlike hit. I'll show you the multiplier stuff in a minute. The A2 comes in as a reasonable hit. And the A3, which is kind of like, I guess the A2 is the setup. The A3 is like the bread and butter, needs to be the nuke, because this is where you get your resets. You get your reset, go again, reset, go again. This one is like a Kale nuke, which isn't bad, by the way. It's like a strong hit in the game, but it's definitely not anything to be kind of too crazy about. Like, it's not up there with Ruel, which is what I thought it might be, or with, like, Thea, the other Hex nukers in the game. So it kind of comes back to, she really is a setup for a different Hex champion to do the work, which is not bad, drop defense and Hex. But then Ruel, I think, ignores defense on his nuke anyway. So you kind of like, you know, where are we using this champion? You know, Ruel, she would be setting up Ruel, ignoring some defense. I guess he's not ignoring all defense, but he does ignore some defense anyway on his nuke. But yeah, so feels like it's going to be a skip because, you know, it's not a tanky champion. So as a setup champion, that's not what we've got here. Relatively quick. So you can kind of use her as a setup, I guess. But just feels like it's going to be for, what? How many books we got here? 4, 9, 12 books. And, you know, okay hits. Doesn't feel like the one for me. So we do have these champion pages for any champion in the game on hellhades.com. And obviously, as we find out more information about champions, or as stuff kind of changes and evolves, we update the ratings, we update the guides. So you can see here, brought Maranix now that we know multipliers and stuff like that, now a 3.5, which is an okay, like a mid-tier legendary, I guess, but nothing too crazy. And she doesn't really have, for me, like a standout position. You know, sometimes you can have an overall weakish rating, but they've got really kind of standout places that they're just going to absolutely excel. Because there's an AoE drop defense, an AoE hex, Maranix is going to be fine anywhere in the game. But in the same way, War Maiden is fine anywhere in the game. Like, that utility comes in a lot of champions now. So that can't be a reason to push someone up really high in terms of ratings. So if we get down to the multiplier information, then you've got a 1.9 multiplier of the attack for the A1. It does, if you get these extra hits, come up as a godlike hit. It's got godlike potential. But if you don't get the extra hits, it's just going to be like an average type of damage. The AoEs are both kind of graded as strong. You've got a 4 multiplier on the A2 and a 4.1 on the A3. It's kind of like a Queen Eva style level of damage, or a KO, as I've said. You know, Skull Crown. They're good damage dealers, but they're nothing too crazy. There's way crazier in the game now. And because the utility here fundamentally relies either on Hex being already out there, or the utility is basically, this is a drop defense champion, it feels like a lot of resources to throw in to get someone who is just a defense champion. Yeah, we've got a lot of them in the game now. So I'm going to skip it. Up to you guys to do what you should do for your accounts. But for me, on the free-to-play, it's actually quite nice to have a bit of a rest. And don't forget, Halloween is coming up, and they often drop a second fusion in the Halloween month, or at least a bunch of new Halloween champions. So, again, up to you to do what you want to do. But I would say don't absolutely burn resources. If you're one of these ones who kind of like gets close to fusions but doesn't quite get them a lot of the time, just hold your resources and make sure you get the next one. That's my advice, but as I say, do what you want to do. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.